Hello and welcome to D-Hub MT YouTube channel podcast brought to you by the European Digital Innovation Hub and powered by MDIA, Malta Digital Innovation Authority. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Seychell, an AI and computer vision academic at the University of Malta. He has rooted his scholarly attention to AI safety and usability by publishing several peer-reviewed publications. He is a technical expert certified by the Malta Digital Innovation Authority and has a Maltese government AI task force members who drafted the national AI strategy back in 2019. Dylan founded two companies and is trusted in the industry with several high-profile projects that apply AI and high-tech to tourism and cultural heritage. Dr. Seychell, it is not what you've been doing for a lifetime, so how all this has started in your life?
It started when I was actually 18, choosing my course at university. And back then, believe it or not, there was actually a specialization in artificial intelligence at the University of Malta. So this was 2006. And it was obviously a relatively new area. And I think it was a sense of curiosity and of the unknown, exploring the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also a route in science that was available in Malta and feasible to even explore in Malta. So I think that is where it all started.
It's good you brought this to us about the unknown because many a time as individuals we're scared of the unknown. And even nowadays, everyone is talking about AI. Okay, we know it means artificial intelligence, but what is it? Is it just a hype? Any misconceptions you have heard about, obviously coming from the public? What have you noticed about this?
Yes, of course, now there's a huge hype about AI, and there is a lot of information, and there is a lot of different type of news as well about it. And for most people, it will be the unknown. But what I encourage people to look at it is that's an opportunity. So the unknown in this case is not a leap into something dangerous. It's obviously everything has its own implications. But in this case, I believe that the opportunities heavily outweigh any sort of worries that we can have about this technology. The hype is there for very well explained reasons, and whoever feels that it's perfectly normal, and even us working in the industry and focusing on the subject on full-time basis actually feel that, and we feel that we're even not keeping up with all the developments. All this actually happened from last year when ChatGPT and similar applications were released. And why did that happen? Basically, AI has been around since the 1950s as a term. The term AI has been defined back then, but obviously technology changed significantly from 1950s up till today. But what happened was that until last year, AI was only there for scientists and researchers actually working in the area, and it was only the few who were actually working on the subject who could actually use that technology. What changed last year is that this technology is now available online through a browser. So just by having a browser on your phone, on your computer, you can log in a website, a few clicks, and you start using it right away without the need of any technical or background information. And with that, obviously, people started using it, and it's positive because people are excited about it. And whenever people are even afraid of any implications, is because they are really witnessing its power and potential. Misconceptions, yes, there are plenty, unfortunately, but it's a matter of time until everything is cleared out. I think one of the most common misconceptions is just like we do when we're dealing with anything of a certain level of complexity, is we try to personalize or give a certain personality to the complex thing that we are dealing with. And in AI, it's not different. So most of the time, we refer to AI as a being. I gave this to AI, and it gave me this output. In reality, I think we need to actually dissect this a bit. So if you are just using AI for you as a personal assistant and so on, it's understandable, and there's nothing wrong in doing so. But on the other hand, we have to even appreciate that this is ultimately a program. It is written in a very an excellent way that helps us stay natural when we're using it. And we tend to obviously link it to or imagine that it's like a human being, but in reality it's not. We have to keep in mind that it's ultimately a program. We're giving it an instruction and it's giving us something back, masked with something real well. That can be slightly dangerous if you are applying AI to a business, because it's not like you're employing a being now. It's a technology at the end of the day. So that is something that we should keep in mind.
Yes, in fact, thanks to the podcast, we're also exploring AI in different sectors, in industries, in the business, as you mentioned, when it comes to environment. So obviously, all this we're trying to bring through to our viewers through these podcasts. How important it is to define artificial intelligence?
It is, because by having a clear picture of what it is, then we can deal with it better. So definitions we have plenty, but unfortunately we do not have one that encompasses whatever we have. It's so vast that there is no universal definition of AI, and people who feel helpless when they are defining AI, it's understandable because we do not have an actual definition. To be honest, I don't really like the idea of a definition, because definitions tend to be difficult to maintain when you have something that is as fast moving as this. So while today we have a certain image in our mind of what is AI, within a few years it might be totally different. So the term and the definition actually stays there, but technology changes. What I normally suggest is that we take a perspective rather than a definition. So we can see AI as the science of approximation. That is how I prefer to see it. AI approximates what we cannot really calculate. So the need for AI is there when we have situations where traditional engineering cannot provide us with a solution. So for example, if we have a calculator, we can simply multiply two numbers and we get a precise result. Okay. We can train an AI model to approximate multiplication. So you show it a lot of examples of multiplication, 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, and so on. And eventually it will learn to multiply, but it will never be precise. It will always approximate a multiplication. And that is useless, because we have an efficient way of actually multiplying two numbers and get the precise answer every time. So in that case, we don't need it. But then there are other applications where engineering, traditional engineering, won't get us. So for example, counting number of people in a photograph, detecting emotions, etc. That cannot be done. It can be approximated. And for that case, AI is excellent. And
it comes into practice very well.
So once we start seeing AI from this perspective of approximating patterns in data, finding patterns, or approximating a prediction, or even now we are approximating content by generating content using all the technology that we mentioned. And that is also approximation. So once we start to take that perspective, then we start to even understand the potential, where we can use it and where we should not use it. Because like that, we would know all the risks combined to it.
Excellent. What should any business or startup consider when planning to build an AI project?
Okay. A very important consideration is that an AI project is not different from any IT project or any other project for that matter. I like to give an analogy for this. So imagine you're a business and you need to install a new bathroom at your office, something totally unrelated to technology. What do you need? You need your fittings, you need water, and you need an infrastructure to deliver the water to your fittings. An AI project is exactly the same. So the fittings in AI are normally the features that we see, a recommendation technique or any other shiny thing that ultimately we're using. But it's not just that. Then we have water, which is the data in AI. Without the data, and the data needs to be of good quality, it needs to be clean, the fitting is useless. And if we do not have a way to deliver the water to those fittings and even access the fittings in the first place, the water won't get there and the fitting is useless. And just like you won't spend all your budget when you're building a bathroom only on your fittings, and you do not invest on good quality water, on the plumbing services, etc., to deliver that water, in AI, my advice is do not focus just on the fittings, on the shiny things that you see at the end, and consider the data, how much the data would cost you, the data that you need to actually get an AI system working at high quality, and even the expertise and the right expertise that you need to actually do that. Because you won't commission an electrician to work on your plumbing, and you won't commission a plumber to work on your electricity. So I think this is how we should look at it, and even though it may look as something special and out of this world, it's not. What we need to do is demystify it in the way I'm saying, speak to different professionals who can actually assist you so that you understand the full picture of it, because just by looking at the fittings, if we take the same metaphor, we may be misleaded and misguided when we are dealing with it.
When it comes, a curiosity this is, when it comes to costings about building an AI project, how is that predictable? Is it a costing in terms of what you wish to bring out of that project, or something that an expertise would come up with a sort of quotation of costs? How is that defined?
Fair enough. It's something that is changing a lot. So even the costs change a lot. But the positive thing about it is the costs normally go down. So the investment, the more time passes, the cheaper it is to actually make. Obviously, if you're early in the race, you have to pay a bit more. Because once it becomes mainstream, obviously because of supply and demand, then it becomes much more affordable.
It depends what you're asking as a company.
Yes, but however, what we're experiencing today, and with the AI race actually heating up globally, even after events like ChatGPT last year, we are witnessing a lot of opportunities that when, for instance, you had case studies last year where you would have needed tens or dozens of AI engineers or specialists to actually build a system, today with a handful or even less if you're actually into it, you can build something that actually serves your need for the business. What I also advise in this case is to start small. So we have to appreciate that few companies are as big as the ones that we see practicing full-scale AI. So it's okay if you start with a very small use case, something that you can afford, that you can try. Because if you invest too much resources and too much time in it and it goes wrong, you end up sort of feeling scared of the technology or hating it. And that's the worst thing that can happen.
Okay.
So starting small, something affordable. There are plenty of case studies. It's really achievable. But scaling down our expectations according to what we need and our budget, I think it's very healthy.
Not sure if you can help us here, but if you had to give us some examples of what small is and what full-scale AI is.
Fair enough. So full scale would be something like what we see in social networks, recommendation techniques on YouTube, etc. That's anything that we have on our phone from companies such as Google, Meta, Facebook, etc.
Okay.
And those would be the best that you're actually getting.
Okay. That's full scale.
Yes, because obviously they have access to talent, to the resources, to actually push the boundaries and even compete against each other. But there are a lot of opportunities for smaller businesses, such as, for example, quality control in restaurants. This is an example that I brought around quite recently. A restaurant can train an AI model to measure the size of the portions that are being served in that restaurant. That can be built over a couple of weekends using today's technology and deployed on a mobile device. So we're not discussing a budget out of this world, don't need supercomputers for it. And just by showing AI a number of examples of plates that you're serving, different portions that are coming out and labeling them as a large portion, small portion, and so on, you can train AI. Every plate that is actually going to be served is actually just scanned under a mobile device, which looks like a normal camera. And at the end of the day, it would tell you sort of how your portions were during the day. It will obviously reduce the waste of food. It will keep customers satisfied because they have just enough and not less than they want. So in reality, it's good for the business even because of costings in terms of food.
And this using the same technology, it can also tell you which was the most popular dish ordered on the day, how many customers you had in, or how many plates have gone out. So by focusing on one thing, many a time we've seen that through AI you can get more information than you actually started for. So if I say started my business to check the portions of my restaurant, but I am getting more readings using the same technology.
And you'll get more insights even how to improve your service. And if you want to even take it a step further, you can even scan the plates once they go back. So you can see how much people actually left in the plate, and then you can start to decide what they like, what they didn't like, whether it was a matter of the portion. Spaghetti carbonara actually came back half full. It means
something was wrong.
Either something was wrong or the portion was too large, and then you would assess.
Okay.
And like that, you would start following trends even in your business.
When it comes to someone who does the full course or what's available at university and coming out of university, what can be achieved through that student who obviously now would be in the workforce, and if they can broaden their expertise, their studies further?
In an area that is so fast moving, we teach students how to learn. We don't, I mean, of course we teach them skills, of course we teach them a lot of theory, but above all we teach them how to learn, because the most important skill today is adaptability. And our programs are designed in a way that would challenge our students to sort of navigate this landscape that is continuously changing and explore different opportunities going forward.
I think it's a way forward in all sectors in the education, because obviously technology
I believe,
is fast moving in all categories.
And technology is even pushing all other sectors and disciplines which are not technology, but ultimately it's the process that is changing altogether.
As a final note and to close off our podcast today, your last message to students and also to other viewers who are not students or are thinking of considering something, some sort of project in AI.
I think it should be a message to everyone. Basically, when you hear about a new technology, try it. Don't be afraid of it. So without trying it, you end up building more anxiety and you start imagining things that might not be there. So my advice is, do try the technology that comes across, ask around, contact professionals or experts to guide you through, and there are a lot of people who will be more than happy to support in the message on the matter and help people go forward.
Okay, so let's try. We'll take your advice and we'll all try. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. That was Dr. Dylan Seychell, and thank you for watching.